All right. Hi, everybody. This is A7X Ben here with God Mason and Xerix, and this is episode number 19 of the Pirate CSG Podcast. So, all three of us are here, and we're going to go straight. Yeah, how are you guys tonight?
Doing all right. Not drunk yet.
Yeah, don't too much
It's
of an
chilly and rainy, my kind of weather.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's
Amen.
cold here, too, in New York, of course. All right. I'm going to go... We're in custom ships organized version. We're just going to go through a custom per post or per creator for the most part from that thread. And let's see. I'm going to pick. I'm looking at the ones from Silvaxry, of course. And I'm going to take. Let's see. There's a lot of different ones here. I'll take Ambush Harbor. This is one he actually built, I'm pretty sure, a while back. It's a pirate fort, costs 6 gold. There's 3 cannons. There are 4L, 3S, 3S, and it says you may build this fort on a Sargasso Sea. As long as this fort is built on a Sargasso Sea, if it's stationed with a captain, as a move action you may roll a d6. On a 6 you may move this fort L. If it does, all those ships get +1 of their cannon rolls against this fort. And once during your turn, you may eliminate 2 masts from one ship and place another 3S cannon on this fort, as long as this fort has less than 6 cannons, so a max of 6. Masts eliminated this way cannot repair during the same turn. So that's a pretty crazy idea. I remember seeing this a bit when he first posted it. I don't love the thought of forts moving around because it makes them more like ships and less like forts, but I think it kind of makes sense if the weeds kind of float around in the water. I'm not sure how the fort would be able to be built that much weight on top of the Sargasso, but it only can move on a 6 even with a captain, so that's okay. And then it gets a negative ability latched on where ships get +1 if it does move. It's pretty wacky. It's kind of an interesting concept I would like to try out, though. I think the cost of 6 gold is about right. People probably wouldn't use this in a 40-point game, but it's kind of like an interesting novelty piece, maybe in 80 points or more in like a casual setting, I would say.
Yeah. This one sounds kind of fun, although a couple of questions I have with it are, does it move the Sargasso Sea with it? Because it does not say that it does so in the text. And also, there is no contingency plan for when it fails to roll a 6 on an attempt at a move action. Mm-hmm. The way sort of WizKids forgot to do that with Possession Crew. Yeah. Wolf had to come in later and say, hey, you can do other stuff with the ship.
Yeah, good point.
And I guess we need guarantee that you can do something else with this fort if you don't get a 6.
Yeah, I think maybe you can because it says as a move action. So then, I mean, if you didn't roll the 6, you couldn't give it a move. So then you could probably still give it a shoot, I'm thinking. But
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's not super well armed, though, to be fair. So, yeah. It's kind of an interesting novelty piece, but probably not super useful, but that's totally fine. So.
Mm-hmm. Is that all we have to say about this piece? And
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cazador would be next because going over
because we're already talking about quite a lot of Xerix's stuff in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or at least several. Not as much as maybe some past podcasts.
Yeah.
But Cazador. Should I pick one in here?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I'm going to scroll down until I see something that doesn't sound familiar. Let's see. Oh, these are a bunch of unnamed crew in here. That's strange.
Yeah, there's different numbers, stuff like that.
Okay. Roddy Jaeger, it looks like.
I think we've covered him before.
Yeah, I think we have. I remember that.
I feel like we're running low on some of these.
Yeah.
Have we talked about Iron Prince 2?
I do not know.
No, I'm pretty sure we haven't.
Okay. Iron Prince 2 is a 16-point, for testing it says, 3-masted turbine with 4 cargo, SS move, 2S, 2L, 2S guns. This ship's masts can be eliminated by ramming. After resolving a shoot action by this ship, including the free shoot action, such as the one provided by the captain keyword, roll a d6. On a 5 or a 6, you may move this ship its printed base move. This is not considered an action. There's also a loyalist's keyword, but I didn't
Yeah, I
catch
don't
with this
see
at
what
the
that
top of
does
the
either.
post.
Yeah, I don't see it. Sorry.
I mean, this is a pretty solid hybrid ship. If I feel like this is kind of pushing the boundaries of what's doable with the action limit, and I think I see what he's doing here. He's trying to sort of make a reverse captain that's legal to pair with a
regular
normal.
captain.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So I guess in that respect, it may be a fair cost, although this is not one I'd probably use myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's a good gunship, but pretty pricey, and I'm thinking of other English three masters like the Nautilus and even the Lord Walpole and some others that are better ships in general. I don't know. It's decent, and I think it could run into some rules problems too. I'm not sure what exactly, but I'm just thinking that you can move the ship the entire printed base move on a fiver. I don't know. That's a tough one. Kind of weird.
Printed base move means you couldn't stack a helmsman or navigator on it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Yep. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of vaguely remember it from a while back, but not too well. So.
The original Iron Prince, what set was that from?
Mysterious Islands.
Right, I thought it was, but I wasn't confident with my memory. Okay, the next post down, I guess, is mine, which is... Okay,
that's me, and that's on the second page. Hang on, let me get there. Get into the second page.
All right. La Colère de Dieu. I'll let you guys talk about this one after I read off the stats.
Yeah.
So, La Colère, I think that's how it's pronounced. La Colère de Dieu is a 15.5-masted French ship. Her base move is S+S. She has a hold size of 3, and her guns are 3L, 2S, 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 3L. If this ship rolls a 1 for a cannon roll, her shoot action ends immediately, and she may be given a move action as a free action.
Wow. Interesting.
Huh. That's odd.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It's a weird ability.
Yeah. It's weirdly, like, defensive or almost like of a retreat type nature.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's going to be tough to avoid, too, if you're going to throw her into combat. She may move as a free. That's an interesting one, because it is similar to Reverse Captain, almost like the last one, a tiny bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because assuming you moved in with a captain, that would be part of the move action. So you'd essentially be giving this ship 2 actions if it failed the... well, no, it's a free action.
Yeah, it's free.
As for the end of there.
Yeah.
So, that's a head scratcher for the rules.
I think
since the captain ability for shooting as part of a move, that's part of the captain. And then if you roll a 1, the shoot action ends immediately, which I think would then end the ship's action. But then as a freebie, it can move again as per its ability.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I would be, without seeing the only 3 cargo, I would be tempted to use it as kind of like a defensive hybrid type thing, but only if it had like 5 or more. So with 3, it's mostly limited to a gunship roll, but it's not. It doesn't really excel at that. And I can think of a bunch of other French 5 masters I'd rather have for the point cost. So I'm thinking this one could probably come down in price. I think because it's kind of an ugly ability on a ship that can't really play a hybrid role. So I think the negative is pretty significant here, to the point where I could see it at 12 points maximum. Maybe less. Play testing.
Really? 12?
I think so, yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose the odds of rolling a 1 at all are reasonably high at this size when you do a shoot action with all guns in range, because I guess it would be 5 out of 6 in my head. Yeah. So all right, I guess I think 12 sounds too low, considering it's a 5-masted gunship.
Yeah,
one with a respectable base move.
12-masted, oh, good grief. 12.5 master.
Let's not think about that.
The only other 12.5 master I can think of is El Neptuno, which is pretty decent.
El Neptuno, I think, is 13.
No, really? She's 12. Yeah, she's 12.
Are you sure? I could swear that El Neptuno is 13.
Yeah, but she's got like 5 cargo
USS
and that's
Atlanta.
sniping ability. So
Yeah, Atlanta also has sniping. That one's 13. I know the Pirate Morningstar is 12, and that's a decent gunship too.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Neptune is 13. Miniature trading database to the rescue.
Yeah, it'll be 12.
I'm pretty sure it's 12.
Yeah, I would say Wolf could chime in here and talk about it. I don't know. I think that would be interesting, and it's a little.
Yeah, maybe repost this ship in the new customs thread.
Yeah, you could.
And then maybe add a tagline. It's like, hey Wolf, what do you think this would be like?
Yeah.
Or what point cost should this be at?
Yeah.
Because even though that negative ability is technically a negative ability, you're allowing your ship to move away, so it can't be immediately shot at or shot back at. So
possibly.
I could see that maybe coming down a little bit, but not to around 12. I could see 13 or 14 maybe. Since if you roll the 1, you could move away to avoid cannon range. There's another thing I just thought of that you could do. You could come in, go for the shoot action, intentionally roll the 1, or try to intentionally roll the 1 to get the extra movement bonus. Yeah, and then you could, since this is all free, if you have an extra action person somewhere, you can give it another extra to keep moving.
Yeah. So
it's like the ultimate drive-by ship.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be better than I think, actually. But I don't know the cost without really play testing it. One thing that could cause issue is the wording, because it says her shoot action ends immediately, but when you're doing a captain, it's move. It's basically just part of the move action. And then...
So remove the term shoot.
Yeah.
Well, if you restrict it to explicitly shoot actions without a captain, then this gets a little bit less drive-by-ish.
Yeah, then
you would have to sail up and give it explicitly a second action for the shoot to then get the free movement on the end.
Yeah.
Kind of how reverse captain already works.
Yeah, exactly. And then, exactly. And the last part could say she may move as a free action rather than move action. Because if it's free, you don't want to think of it as an action when you're reading the ability, or as a non-free action. So, kind of confusing, but it's interesting. Yeah. All right. Could go to the next part, I guess.
Okay.
Finish, unless you have anything else to say. But
no, I'm still working on looking up the the point cost of El Neptuna.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I do. Is there a next section? Because I don't think there's anything below me on this thread.
No, I think
that's it.
There. Yep.
Interesting.
So we're going to go.
I guess quick message out there to people who are listening. Send us some customs you'd like talked about on these off podcasts, because we really do want to be sure that we're talking about new customs and that we haven't talked about, say, HMS Iron Prince in a past episode. If you send us new stuff, we can be sure that we're talking about new content.
And you could post the new Custom Ships 2 thread is up, so anything that gets posted there will be new in general. So if anybody does want customs to be gone over, you could post there, even if they're already in organized. Or I know there's some custom creators who haven't posted in organized yet, so you can introduce stuff in the new Custom Ships thread, for example, and we can see it there, and I could try to make a note about it or whatever.
That sounds good.
There's also some of the other stuff that El Cazador did, his spreadsheet. Although that includes his custom one-off faction, so I don't know if we want to go there or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't like mixing my fantasy worlds too much. I think a lot of people don't, which is why despite having so many good pieces, the Disney Pirates of the Caribbean set is received so poorly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really
problem.
like mixing Hyrule in with all that.
Yeah, that's for me. It's not so much the different fantasies; it's the different fantasies in terms of what the actual theme is. Like The Legend of Zelda isn't like a naval or pirate game or about wargaming or warfare, Age of Sail. Pirates of the Caribbean is right up the alley of pirate CSG, so that's why I'm not so annoyed in that case. And I just love the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, so it's just
I love this film.
All the broken pieces from Disney Pirates, the Hai Pang and Captain Jack.
And HMS Endeavor.
Yeah, not even that. Just seeing like the characters and it's a cool talking point for people when you're introducing people to the game and stuff. But I hear you on other fantasies. I wouldn't want to see like Harry Potter in this game or anything. That would be too hard. So.
Or somebody made a Skyrim set.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, please no. Please nobody do that just to troll me. Because I won't read it. I won't read through all of it, and your time spent trying to troll me will have been partially wasted. Not entirely, because you make me mad.
Yeah.
But partially.
And we could just skip over that bit of his set and do the others.
Yep,
but
maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, though, we're going to go to Return of Davy Jones, which we're going to finish tonight. We're on the last few sections. We've got super rares and limited editions to go over, so we're going to finish Xerxes' first custom set, and then probably next odd-numbered episode, we'll probably start Fiends of the Blood Islands, hopefully. But I'll start the super rares with Flying Dutchman, so it's a remake of the Cursed 5-Master. It's 18 points, 4 cargo, L move. Cannons are 2S, 3S, 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 2S, and it's got Living Ship and Battleship, which Battleship is 2 shots per match, along with extended range. And then Living Ship is basically sack ability along with Jonah. So the crew
there's no downside to that Jonah ability.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So crew on the ship cost no points, but they take up 1 cargo space, blah, blah, blah. And as we
the point cost still counts toward the build total.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Just so.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit during campaign game 3 on Vassal.
Yeah.
And changes are on the way for this.
Yeah.
Guys, I think right now are having the old version of the spreadsheet, but changes are coming for it in terms of point cost.
Yeah. So basically, in CG3, the Curse launched this, and then we had a little discussion in the email chat. So we settled on 26 points. Which still might be too low. Wolf said in a campaign game, anything less than 30 would seem too low. So, but yeah, it's just super, super duper good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go to the next one if you want. Or anybody can.
All right. John's Hook is the next one on the super rares list. It's a unique treasure, and its description says, load this treasure face up. Crew no longer take up cargo space on this ship. This is an interesting one, and it does benefit gold runners that have crew on them. But at the same time, because I think it's not too powerful, I don't think it would see that much use.
I think it's good. I would definitely use this one. I like helmsmen on my gold runners especially. Not so much explorers, but sometimes. I could see this one being used a decent amount. I'd say it's a very good treasure runner fleet positive UT. And you could kind of get an artificial hybrid. You could put it on a big ship that's more durable, and then that's kind of a weird thought, but you could make a pure gunship into more of a hybrid role if you wanted to, if you transfer it or whatever. So, yeah.
Imagine a high ping where the crew completely did not take up cargo space and loaded with UPS.
Yeah, it's even good. It's really good anyway, and then that would make it.
Or heck, if this found its way onto the Banshee's Cry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or any ship for that matter. Instant gold runner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any good hybrid type thing. It's a cool UT. I like this one. Yeah. Not the next one as much. Oh, God.
I haven't read the next one as much. Should I read that one out loud so you can hear my live reaction to it or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Load this treasure face down. Oh, wait. I better read the name first. Hidden Trove. It sounds a lot like Hidden Cove to me. And the fact that you don't like it makes me kind of worry. Load this treasure face down. You may only reveal it when unloaded at your home island. Hidden Trove is worth, I can't read this because it goes straight off the screen. Okay, wait. Hidden Trove is worth twice the total number of ships in the game. Yeah, I can see this being a problem in big games like you play on Vassal quite a lot.
Let's
see.
Exactly.
I mean, in a, let's say in a 200-point game, you're probably going to be running at least 15 ships, right?
Yeah, possibly.
So
bare minimum 10
per team. Yeah, so that would be at least 60 gold worth. Mm-hmm. And okay, I could excuse this if it said load it face up. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah, and then you have a huge target. Yeah.
Yes, it's a huge target. Exactly.
That's a decent con to attach to it for changes. I think for me, it reminds me of Navigators and especially Cargo Masters because I think they're broken in big games too. I think Cargo Masters should have 3 ships or 5. We talked about that before. instead of just every ship with the same nationality. I think this could say 2 times the total number of ships in the game, to a maximum of 15 or 20 gold or something. I mean, it's got to cap it somewhere, or else it's just really game breaking. So
yeah, I'd also argue that you could possibly take out the text saying double, because, or 2 times the total number of ships in the game. Because even in a small game, say a 40-point game, you can rely on there being at least 5 ships in that game between 2 players.
Yeah, usually.
And so this would make it worth 10 gold. That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're playing for the standard cost of, the standard gold rules of 30 total in the game, this plus the rest of the treasure on the island could basically end it straight away.
Yeah.
So I think without even doubling it, load face up and without doubling, and it's still going to paint a target on your back.
Yeah. I think, and like you said with the gold, you could do like a swarm fleet with like 8 ships and just have one of them be really fast and useful, like the High Peng or something with Captain Jack Sparrow or something similar. And then you could just try to find this, and then your 8 times 2 is 16 that you need to win. So, I mean, that's kind of partly why the gold rules aren't great, but it's also exploitative, or you can exploit it.
When I've played gold games, like to go to outside of Vassal in the tournament, usually we don't play to like 1st to 15 or some silly thing. We play until all the gold off all islands is gone or unavailable, as in it's like gone down with the ship. So I've never run into that with this, but I could certainly see how this could be a problem for people who do play by that rule.
Yeah.
As a counter, as opposed to the total number of ships in the game, what if it was just worth 2 times the total number of ships in your fleet?
That's okay, but then you can like kind of game it with a swarm fleet. So
I
don't know. It's kind of over the top, I think.
All right. Well, this when I made this was supposed to be like the treasure at the end of Treasure Island. That's what this is supposed to be.
Okay. Huh. Cool.
I haven't seen Treasure Island in so long. I've seen Treasure Planet, which was...
Oh, okay. That was the other inspiration for this. This is like, Treasure Planet. That gigantic planet of gold at the end. That and... that's about it.
Yeah. Nice. All right, cool. Yeah,
all right.
Definitely some changes.
Oh, and then we have the LE, the limited edition ships to go through as well.
Yeah, I was about to.
Oh boy.
Yep.
These are going to be interesting.
Yeah, so I'll do the first one. It's a cursed 10 master called the Yaochuan. It's 37 points, 4 cargo, L move. The cannons are 4L, and then it has 2 4Ss, 2 4Ls, 2 4Ss, 3 4Ss, and then 2 4Ls, so all ranked 4, just a mix of ranges. And it's got the keywords junk, fear, and Seafloor Traveler. And Seafloor Traveler says, at the beginning of each of your turns, decide if the ship is submerged or not. If she is, she cannot ram, be rammed, pin or be pinned, board or be boarded, and shoot or be shot at. So you can essentially submerge it, similar to a submarine or a sea creature. I've seen this one a handful of times, and I've also literally seen it in the pictures, because Xerxes has actually built it, which is really cool, especially for a rare ship type, like a 10 master. I'm not really sure how good it would actually be. I would definitely want a world hater, even if I had to pay the 9 points for Phantasma from Davy Jones' Curse to get it. The cost seems a little high. I mean, the cargo is very below average for a 10 master. It's 2 lower than even the RTSS ones. The cannons are pretty mediocre, and other than Seafloor Traveler, the abilities aren't great. I understand the Seafloor Traveler would be a lot, and I'd rather have it be overpriced than underpriced. I think that might be the case here. I don't know. I think it has potential, but I'm not really sure how well it's done in games, but you can attest to that, of course.
It's seen action in some of the campaigns we've played.
Yep.
A little bit. And I've had an idea to put like a possessing crew on this, or just things that can submerge in general. Like Pompadoc and or Edward Lowe, and maybe stick on a SAP captain or a SAP crew of some kind.
Yeah, nice. I still think the cargo and guns and abilities are all somewhat lackluster. I mean, it can submerge, but other than that, it's below average in every other way. So I think it could go down in cost, believe it or not. But
So around 30, or would 30 still be too high for it?
I'm thinking I'm thinking like 32, and then play test it from there or something like that. So.
All right, I'll try it at 32. Maybe in this summer's campaign.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
It looks pretty outrageous to me. I mean, C4 Traveler, I see what you're doing here, but if you do want something that can submerge, and as long as we're playing in the realm of fantasy, why not just make up a 10-mast submarine?
Oh,
because
no.
I couldn't actually make a 10-masted submarine. I had spare 10-mast parts. I think I even traded for you to get some of the pieces to make this.
I wouldn't be surprised. Was it spare parts for a Celtic Fury or something?
Yeah.
It was 2 parts Shuizan and 1 part Celtic Fury.
Oh, I think there are people out there who will hate you for making a Frankenstein 10-master when they don't even have one for themselves.
That's fair.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
At least Eric's has used his multiple times.
Yeah. And I used the 2 most easily accessible, more or less, 10 masters in the game.
I'd say
if I'd taken apart if I'd taken apart a Guishan or a Zeus to make this, I think even my brothers would have killed me.
Yeah. I do wonder, it seems kind of strange to me that Zeus is so rare, considering that Ocean's Edge was printed in such massive numbers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I guess people just didn't, read the inserts about keeping the wrappers.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or about getting packs from a non-internet store or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. That's a good one to wonder about, though. Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, should we hop onto Morgrol, the next ship on the list?
Yeah, go ahead.
I miss this guy. I had this model made, and I used it in one of the campaigns, but then, literally when the game ended and we were taking everything down... No, actually, I don't have a dog. The spine
Your brother ate it.
right on the wings.
Oh,
right where the wings go in on the Sea Dragon back, the spine broke right there.
Well, I guess that kind of spoils what kind of unit it is.
Well, oops.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, people are going to find out in 10 to 15 seconds anyway. Morgrol is, as Zarek said, a sea dragon. It is a cursed sea dragon at 20 points. And because it's a sea dragon, it has no cargo, and its movement is basically hover it anywhere on the freaking map. Its guns, if you want to call it that, are 2S, 3S, 3S, 2L. 2 hits are required in the same shoot action to eliminate one of this creature's segments. I like that on this kind of unit because I thought sea dragons were always incredibly overpriced for what they are, because while they do have the incredible strength of being able to move anywhere on the board in an instant, they also have the huge weakness of being completely incapable of using a captain. So a defensive action like this or a defensive ability like this on a unit this expensive makes a lot of sense and might make it worth using.
Yeah, I agree. I think you summed it up well. I agree. And I think this probably just became the best sea dragon, arguably, as a result.
I don't know. We haven't gotten through Phobia. There's at least one more dragon that shows up in Phobia.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Phobia?
That's my shorthand for Fiends of the Blood Islands.
Oh.
FOBI. It sounds a little silly, but...
No, wait. Since you're not acknowledging the T for the, O and the of shouldn't be either. So you should say you should say we haven't gotten through the FBI.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Nice.
Like Custom said, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
All right.
Edith Smith, 6 points. He's a SAT captain.
Oh.
Uh-huh. He gets +2 against Neo.
All right.
Yeah,
shall somebody read Carnage next, or?
Yeah, Morgrul I think is good. I like the name too. I think the name is pretty cool. It reminds me of like Morgoth or something from Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. But
I don't know what Morgrul's even supposed to mean.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I just said it one day and I was like, "Oh, that's a cool thing."
Yeah,
that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, I'll name this after it."
Yeah, nice. All right, the next one is Carnage. This one's Pirate. 20 points for a 4-master with 4 cargo, SS move. Cannons are 3S, 2L, 2L, 3S, and ability says if the ship has a captain crew, she gets +1 to her cannon and boarding rolls and is considered eternal. So I'd say this is a pretty good gunship if you got the points to spend on kind of a mega gunship of sorts. The captain is basically mandatory. I would do captain, helmsman, oarsman at a bare minimum. I'd probably put, like, the pirates have a wealth of SAT type crew. So I'd probably put some kind of action generating crew aboard as well. I'd say the cost is about right, because I mean, once you put the captain aboard, thinking about world hating, +1 to boards, and eternal, that's pretty much all going to kick in. So it does have to up the cost a bit. So it's a good one.
Having you said that makes me a little nervous, because you guys have the older version of my spreadsheet, which is, I'm realizing now, rife with errors, and this is another one. The Carnage is also supposed to have the keyword hidden gold, which reads, this ship has 2 extra cargo spaces that may only be taken up by treasure. This ship is considered to have the limit keyword.
So it's similar, so it makes it a hybrid, kind of by default. I would say 20 points could still work for that, but I would want to play test it to make sure. So I was about to say that 20 points could almost be a little bit too much, but then with that keyword as well, I'd say it might be about right. So, yeah.
Yeah. Before you mentioned that, was thinking it almost sounded too expensive, like 17 or 18 points would have worked, because while I do think Eternal is underpriced, it doesn't sound like it's all that competitive with the likes of OE, La Resolución. Kind of similar, but better, but also not really at all comparable. I'm getting off track, but with that, yeah. But with that said, I think this may be fair at 20 points, although I did want to mention that I don't really like when custom sets go for a ton of unique keywords, because they're kind of hard to remember. It's not like the base game where you can remember, okay, captain is this, longship is this. When it comes to integrating custom sets into games, I feel like it's sometimes better to go without so many unique keywords. And I understand that unique keywords allow you to do a lot of stuff that WizKids never thought of. But at the same time, it makes some of the more complex custom units, such as this, hard to play for people who aren't really invested in using them.
I would agree.
Yeah, especially since hidden gold only shows up on this one piece. So on anything else.
Yeah, if it's a unique keyword to one custom piece, then I would reconsider even making it a keyword, and I just throw it in the ability text.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And even then, I sort of have the same complaint with some of the 10 Masters, with how they'll print a keyword on, say, Admiral Zheng He and on the Baochuan, and you have to pull up the card to figure out what it even does.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even like hoarding gold, they barely use that again. So
yeah, that too. It's funny how they gave that a keyword, even though that was basically an ability already.
Yeah,
and then they never used the keyword.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll go to the next one. The Carnage has a linked crew named One-Handed John. He's a pirate horse.
What, you don't like him?
You know, it just sounds like something you wouldn't really want to be called online.
So
this guy's actually very near and dear to me in an odd way.
Yeah. He's 9 points. He's got 3 abilities: Captain, Musketeer, and then S-board, so he can board from us away without having a ram. And then boarded ship, can't use boarding bonuses. So yeah, I would say price is decent. I value S-board around 4. Musketeers are a little overpriced maybe, so 9 is about as low as you could go, but I think it's fair. And he's a really good crew for the Carnage because the captain ability gives you those abilities on the Carnage, like 3 of them basically, and then you've got an extra cannon, and the S-board will help with the hidden gold, because then you could make it a hybrid. So with One-Handed John, you could add maybe just helmsman and oarsman, and then optionally, Calico Cat or somebody for SAT, but I think it's a good crew and a good link, so nice.
I think on his own, he's actually a pretty solid crew. Maybe could come down to 8, because I'm not sure that all 3 of his abilities pair that well. But paired with Carnage, I almost want to say his cost should be like 12 because of how well all the abilities come together. It's a strange situation. I guess I can't tell you not to link him to Carnage because he's meant to be paired with Carnage. But I don't know what to do because on his own, he's probably about right. But with that ship, it starts to get a little crazy.
Yeah, Captain Musketeer and Escort would come to 11 by WizKid standards, so upping the cost would also be fair. So
yeah.
Real quick before you go on, if you recall the treasure John's hook, right, that's his hook.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask earlier, do you have John's other hand in your drawer or something?
Nah.
Poor John. Zarek stole his
he
hand.
has him a little bit of a tragic backstory, kind of.
Huh.
Did his parents leave him on the streets of Los Angeles, go do crack, die in a gutter, have their bodies blasted out of an air cannon into the crowd at wherever the Dodgers play these days? Did I just say that on the podcast?
Yeah,
I was just kind of rambling with whatever I could come up with.
Not quite that bad, but his backstory is his dad forced him into be a child laborer in a factory, wherein during a factory accident he lost his hand. Because his dad was kind of handy, he gave him a hook to replace it.
Did he lose his dad too?
I think he might have killed him eventually.
Oh, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you give your kid his limb back and he kills you anyway, you've probably made some mistakes as a parent.
Yeah. Although I don't think he killed him right away. He probably came back some years after he was an established pirate and offed him.
But he didn't kill him right away. He sort of slowly tortured him to death.
No. He got the hook, and then he didn't see his dad for a while. So then John went off and established himself as a bloodthirsty pirate. And then he got an inkling for revenge, tracked down his dad, and killed him.
Aw. Well, that'd be a really interesting story to read on Gawker. All right. Anyway, have we said all there is to say about one-handed, hook-handed John?
Yeah.
Okay. Admiral Bryson Cutler is next. He's a 12-point English crew. His ability is this ship's crew may not be eliminated unless she sinks. And can you explain to me what the Holy Sword keyword is again?
Once at the beginning of each of your turns, roll a d6. On a 5 through 6, cancel any 2 cursed crew or ship abilities in play.
So this is basically my meme of I hate faction abilities.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean...
To be fair, the Holy Sword ability and these 2 guys, plus the other one who has it in the regular release, they were designed by my brother who hates the Cursed.
Yeah.
What did the Cursed ever do to him?
I've played as Cursed in the campaigns, and so has my other brother, and he's not won any of our campaigns. So he was possibly a little bit revenge motivated.
Yeah.
Also, because if you look at it, Return of Davy Jones here is extremely Cursed heavy.
Well, yeah, because it is called Return of Davy Jones and all that.
Yeah.
I'd argue Holy Sword is also kind of a keyword that could use another name because Holy Sword sounds a little silly. I would say maybe call it something to do with praying because that seems more fitting.
Yeah, I think Holy Sword is okay. I feel like this and the next crew are kind of like for huge games where there's like all these OP cursed stuff in play, kind of like the stuff in the set, basically. Yeah, so I guess in that case, I kind of like these just because they're counters to some of the overpowered curse stuff we've seen in the set. And so in that case, I don't mind them. I would never use them in a smaller game, but I could see in the types of games that Derek plays and I play to some extent.
Yep, we like huge games.
Yeah, of course. So, I'll do the next one, which is similar. Grand Inquisitor Tomas Blanc is Spanish. He's 13 points. Loyal Spain, Fear, and Holy Sword. So not as useful.
Tomas Blanco.
Yeah. Yep. Not as.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even. It gets cut off on mine. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to update, send out the, or I guess upload the modified spreadsheet here for Return of Davy Jones.
Yeah, I'm kind of a stickler about like spreadsheet like formatting, but my sets. But yeah, this guy's not as useful as Cutler. But like I said, the Spanish need to counter some OP Kurt stuff. Then this is your guy. And that's the last piece of Return of Davy Jones. So we finished it. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those two guys are discounts on the first time you see Holy Sword.
I think
buy one, get one free.
Commander Anderson, who is 14 points.
Yeah, who is also, I think I pointed out, a Helsing reference.
Yep.
Which is a decent show, if exceedingly violent.
It was like one of the first anime I ever watched.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Edition, the OVAs, those are...
Yeah, the Ultimate Edition was far better than the normal one, because the normal one just kind of ended with some Dragon Ball character coming in.
Oh, jeez. I'm glad I haven't seen that.
Don't. It's a really stupid ending. Character comes out of nowhere, and the story doesn't really feel resolved. Anyway, on to the next segment of the podcast, I think, because this is not the anime review segment. We're not about to talk about One Piece.
Yeah. I got a random one on my Pirates on eBay history spreadsheet. The Bouchuan has the most 10 Master listings from auctions that I've recorded since like 2011 or 12. The Zeus actually has the second most, so that doesn't mean it's actually the second most common 10 Master, of course, because it's a certain sample size, but it's interesting that the Zeus is the second most expensive after the Guichuan, but it's also the second most commonly listed, just barely ahead of the Guichuan and Delusion, and the Shui Jian is actually the least common 10 Master up for auction on eBay in general. So probably because it's separated into cards, but we were talking about the Zeus earlier seeming so rare, even though OE was common. So it might not be as rare, but the price is just higher because I guess the demand is higher, which makes sense because it's the best 10 Master. It's a pirate ship, and it looks really cool, and the name is more relatable than pretty much any of the other 10 Master names. So yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. We were going to move on to the news and ranking segment of the podcast, which, I mean, I'm just going off that as it was written in our little schedule.
Yeah.
It was I'm guessing requests. That means it was just kind of talking about developments and maybe the ranking threads and other things I've posted.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the survey result requests, so I just put it in. In terms of the rankings, I thought it was interesting. I want to get Bill's thoughts on the Bombardier ranking. Would you pick the Draconum or the Grand Vanquir? Which would you rather have in a game or a fleet?
I don't know. I'm not attracted to the Draconum's negative ability. If only because it seems like every time anyone uses it, you would roll a 1.
Yeah.
The Grand Vanquir, what does this do? Oh, it's got that built-in cannoneer thing. Honestly, I might surprise you. I might want the Bombardier, just the English one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Only because I know you can. It's got that 2L, or it's got the rank 2 cannon on there somewhere, and it's got better crew options, I think, than all of them except maybe the Draconum.
Yeah, I would pick the Draconum ahead of the Grand Vanquir, just because for the 8 points you can get like Captain Helmsman and something else, almost a full World Hater, for the same cost as the Grand Vanquir. So even though the negative ability is pretty bad, I think a huge 8-point differential really holds the Grand Vanquir back, and I think it makes her the worst Bombardier, in my opinion. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think Bombardiers are another case of overcomplicated keywords. And for that reason, I've actually used one once, back when I was getting back into the game in, I think, 2015. And I played a game with a friend, and I used a Bombardier, and it was kind of complex and not all that effective.
Yeah.
I think I lost that game. So yeah, I would not recommend using any of them.
Yeah. Me either.
But if I had to use one, probably which one has the extra action ability? Is that Vancouver?
No, that's the Concurrent, I believe.
Okay, then I would probably play the Concurrent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's the one I don't have. Because I think we've got the Draconum, the Vanquer, the Bombardier. I don't think we have the Concurrent.
Oh, there was an idea I was playing with. I don't think I only came up with it a couple nights ago. What if somebody had a spare hoist and a spare French Bombardier, and they custom built a Fitu?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
The hoist arm will fit.
Are they the
into
same size?
Hole. Yeah, for the swiveling cannon and the hoist arm, they'll fit.
Be right back.
You could transplant them. I did that once, actually, I think to show El Cazador a proof of concept that you could to make a custom hoist. I think he was thinking about making his 10-fold hoist or something. I don't know.
I've got to see if I've got a spare Buscador and a spare Bombardier of some kind. And that way I can
I don't think you even have to take the ships apart completely.
Yeah, just swap
the way it
front
looks like it's
component.
constructed. Yeah, you could just leave that front bit that turns. It looks like you could just lift the cannon artillery piece completely out of there, and do the same with the hoist arm.
I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah. All right.
I didn't have a spare Bombardier that I could make a custom hoist with, so I had to go and get a spare. I think a Frontier and a spare. I think Buscador to make some of the hoists that I made for Phobie.
I think I traded away all my spare hoists.
Oh no! Oh well.
Yeah. I'll have to go through my Savage Shores thing.
All right, time to find some broken ones, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, the hull is broken. Oh no! What will I do?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't broken any of those because I got all of them years after I stopped breaking things. But elsewhere with the news thing, for anyone who's not a part of the Reddit community for this game, they will have missed a little post where somebody was offering to make some custom cut ships out of aluminum using a carbon dioxide laser. And I had the thought, which I talked about with Ben and maybe Billy before the podcast, where these would be the ideal ways to make custom ironclads. And so at some point, if this person gets back to me and the costs are reasonable, I may commission a custom run of aluminum ironclads and sell them probably at cost on eBay.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would, before doing this, I would probably finalize the stats of 2 or 3 ships, maybe the USS Monitor, the CSS Virginia, and probably the Gloire, that French ironclad that I think we both have custom versions of.
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Yeah, so that would be what we'd look for, and I guess we'll see how that goes. And keep your eye on
what kind of aluminum?
I don't know. I think it would
like
be
the aluminum that you find in like a soda can, like that high grade military stuff.
Yeah.
Or are we talking like tin foil?
I don't
aluminum
think
foil.
Tin foil. Probably something thin that you could bend it, sort of like the cards, where you could maybe assemble it. But I don't know. I'd also have to look into how to weather and corrode it, because I wouldn't just want, polished or brushed aluminum shit, because they'd look so out of place. Whereas corroded aluminum would probably look quite right.
It's rusty because it's made of metal on the sea.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I'll have more news on that later, maybe.
Yeah.
But now I have a crazy idea to just go and get some aluminum foil, learn to speak, foil, and fold it down to like make ships. Origami a ship out of tin foil. Yeah, there we go.
This is the HMS Fanta.
Shiny side out.
She's our 10 master. Roll a d6 on a 6 or on a 1. You have to drink an entire can.
That doesn't sound bad.
It does if you have tooth problems. Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, I think the next segment. Does anybody have any more news?
Yeah, I was going to announce the Caribbean game, which most people
yes.
probably know about because I posted it pretty much on all the forums already. But Xerix and I have started the Caribbean game, which is basically a replacement for the World game. So it uses a custom rule set with a lot of complicated stuff in it. We have like a lot of different rules for like house rules and governments and like taxes and like army units and all sorts of island upgrades and whatnot. And you can play in the game too, though, because there's cameo or guest appearances. So if you want to participate in the game, you can just let Xerix and I know, and we'll try to fit you in. So we've started off the game. We each control 2 factions right now on Vassal. I'm controlling the Dutch and the French, and then Xerix has the English and Spanish. And we've played 2 sessions, and we're looking forward to more. So it's going to be an adventure on a scale that will exceed
everything.
Absolutely everything. Yep, all of the Vassal campaign games so far, 1, 2, and 3, maybe even like put together eventually in some months or years from now. So there's really no end in sight to how epic it will become. So it's something we're really excited about.
Speaking, I guess I'm gonna do a little interjection here. A while ago, I posted a video on the forum, which under the First Look Pirates of the Savage Seas, which is a kind of me playing a campaign game to turn it into a sort of web series of sorts. So that's going in under production. But I've hit a small snag. About a week ago, the game file that I had, there was a problem with saving, and it wound up not saving, so I lost all my progress. Thusly, I've had to begin production all over again from the beginning. I don't think this is going to affect my target release premiere day of sometime in the fall, but just tossing that out there.
Yep. Yeah, I heard about that on Vassal. It was pretty rough to hear about. One of the disasters.
Quick jump in to settle the argument earlier about the cost of El Neptuno. It is 12 points. I was wrong.
Yeah, the Atlanta has sniping too, and that one's 13, so it could be part of it. Another 5 master with the same ability. Yeah. All right. I'll start the next section, I guess. So this is another request from the survey responses from a while back. So people wanted us to go over some fleets. So we're each going to pick a fleet we've submitted in the fleet section on miniature trading, and we're just going to go over it in some detail, but not totally comprehensively. So I'm going to pick American Pirates, also known as the APs, abbreviated. This is a 40-point standard fleet I built to be rather competitive, and it even did better than I thought it would. It did pretty well in both of the Vassal tournaments. It won an 8-fleet multiplayer game, and then it came in second place in a 12-fleet game. So I would say it's one of the best multiplayer fleets at the 40-point standard level, just from its record so far, which is kind of interesting. It does well 1v1 as well, but does especially good in multiplayer. Right now it's 14-12 in 26 games, which is certainly a lot of playtesting for the same fleet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of my most tested fleets I've ever had, and one of my favorites too. It's really grown on me. And it's not even like fully optimized in a weird way, which I'll talk about, but I'll just go through it real quick. The Roanoke is the flagship, the American 5-master, where you can use pirate crew on the ship. It's got 6 cargo and good enough cannons to be a hybrid. And then I've got Captain Blackheart for a SAC captain, Commodore Matthew Perry, who's the limit ransom crew for America, to add 5 points to the build total. And then I've got Helmsman, Explorer, and 3 oarsmen. So I've got plenty of SAC options. I've got Captain Helmsman Explorer and multiple actions, so I can do a really good hybrid roll with the Roanoke so I can get gold. Usually it plays an attacking role at first, and then if it survives the encounter with enemy gunships, it'll get gold after. And then I've got 2 treasure runners, the Amity from Crimson Coast, 3-masted pirate ship with ghost ship keyword, triple S base move, and then an Explorer as well. And then I've got the Bandito, which is a one-masted pirate ship that we went over in the South China Sea set review. 6 points, SS speed, but with no cargo, gets plus S base move. So she goes out at 3S, gets 2 coins, comes back home at 2S. And then I've got Hidden Cove, which I don't really like, but we didn't ban all events. We only banned Mermaids and Favor of the Gods for tournament number 2 and tournament number 1. So
Not Hidden Cove?
No, not that one. We only banned the other 2. So, so basically, this is one of the only times you'd ever see me use events in a fleet because I don't like events at all. But for tournament play, we want it to be more official, I guess. So, and Hidden Cove is often used on the Roanoke. This is one of the interesting things about this fleet is it's tough to know when to use Hidden Cove. Pretty sure Xerix has controlled this fleet too. And the Roanoke...
Yeah, once or twice.
Yeah, the Roanoke is usually the choice for Hidden Cove, but it's a tough fleet to control, but a really good fleet to use because it's quite effective.
Yeah.
It's tough to know whether... It's kind of like a chess game, especially if you know your opponent has Hidden Cove. Then if you Hidden Cove out first, you might get hit hard. But then if you wait, you might have wasted your opportunity. So there's a lot of like Cove strategies, I guess you could say. Between the Roanoke, and then sometimes the Amity is actually the ship to cove out, because you cove it to the center island or one of the islands, and then it can keep moving towards an even farther island, but then it'll be isolated and all alone. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. If you're interested in some of the details, the Vassal Tournament number 2 thread has a lot of battle reports with it, along with some of my thoughts during those games. But yeah, it's 14 and 12, one of the better fleets I've seen. And the reason I said it's not optimized is for the Bandito 6 points, you can get the Banshee's Cry with a Helmsman and Explorer for 6. So if we sub that in, it could be even better. So it's definitely one of the better fleets I've made. And the record, 14 and 12 might not sound amazing, but that's partly because it's gone up against like wicked good fleets, like the UPS strategy with Captain Jack Sparrow and the Hai Peng and stuff. It goes up against highly competitive fleets like all the time, like almost exclusively at this point. So against most fleets, it would have a better record, but even so, it's one of the best I've made.
As a fan of Roanoke, I'm going to say it's probably because Roanoke is in your fleet.
Yeah, partly because of that,
yeah. Quick plug. Please, people, read my review of Roanoke. I spent a lot of time and I only got 2 votes on it. I'm begging again.
I've used this fleet in 26 games and it only has 2 votes, so yeah. Even though it's wicked good, and I've proven it to be wicked good. So.
Yeah.
And
Roanoke is good.
Yeah, Roanoke is interesting because it's in a fleet that's mostly pirate in this case, but then the ability to use pirate crew gives the American ship access to the 2 pirate sack captains, which is huge. So
yeah. It's funny because it's statistically an okay ship. It just has an outstanding crew selection.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to probably go for one of my fleets at this time. Mm-hmm. Should I go... I haven't actually made my decision so far yet. Should I go for something 40-point sized or 60-point sized?
Either way.
I don't care necessarily.
I guess I'm going to go... Wait, no, I'm going to do my most recent fleet then. This is not a very good fleet. I'm going to tell everyone straight. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to do something I'm more proud of. I guess I'll go with Colio Terrorize the Seas, which is my way of getting the most out of Colio Terra, which is the pirate submarine from Mysterious Islands. Now, basically what I do is I put everything I can into making Colio Terra a ram sub, which I think is one of the best uses for submarines if you don't want to use marines. And so what I do is I throw Calico Cat, the Spanish main version, so plain sat, Gentleman Jocard for extra cargo space, a helmsman, Lady Baptiste as a basic reroller, and the Hag of Tortuga on board to help raise the point cost. So you've got a submarine that's moving 3S in a single turn with about a 55% chance of same action twice. And then it has the support of Raven's Neck, which was not only one of my first ships, but also one of my kind of my personal favorites because I think she's a really good ship, but underrated because she shared a set with broken stuff like Darkhawk and La Jolla.
Yep.
And on board Raven's Neck, you have Devereaux from Revolution, who is both a home island raider and an island and ship spy, who pairs well with Raven's Neck ability to look at face-down treasures on any island. You also get a helmsman and an oarsman, so you end up with a ship that's reasonably fast, has 4 cargo spaces open, can look at 2 treasure on any island in any turn, and you've got the security of an oarsman.
Yeah.
Also, being a large ship, even if a gunship comes at you with a first shot, it's still possible for that gunship to miss some of its shots, therefore giving the Raven's Neck a few shots to return fire with, or a few masts to return fire with.
Yeah,
Especially
and Raven's Neck
I think her middle ones are the 2 L's.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. I like the Raven's Neck. I'm rather fond of it as well.
Yeah, I like the ship, definitely. I wish there was a pirate. I think this would make sense, too. I wish there was a pirate named crew that had captain and home island rating for 6 or 7 points. I think that would be perfect instead of Devereaux. It's tough, though, to optimize the cargo. I mean, you could go... I'm just tempted to put a captain on the Raven's Neck, because then you at least have 1 captain in your fleet, especially for the larger ship with the better guns. But you'd have to do like captain and then I think Phantasma or Villanueva for the home island rating. Then you'd lose the cargo, so kind of just up to like. It's interesting you went with the thematics of like the spying, which I think is cool. But yeah, I think it'd be an interesting fleet to play against too. With that submarine zooming around real quick, it'd be kind of scary.
Yeah.
So
I did play it once in a 3-player game, and it was basically the game that got submarines unofficially banned in my play group because everybody was so frustrated with not being able to shoot at it. And at the same time, they didn't really stop to think about if they had, say, rushed Raven's Neck because I was playing against 2 other people, or if they had gone out of their way to just ignore me and keep going and soldiering on, I would have been split between 2 people who are playing the gold race, and I would not have been able to keep up, and I would not have been able to do enough damage to their ships. So, that was a 3-player game. That's not a standard one-on-one 40-point game. But the spying meta and emphasis could be of more value in a bigger game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, more islands.
Maybe.
Player. Yeah. Nice.
Right. Do you have one you'd like to read, Xerax?
A few. Or 1 or 2. Hang on, let me go find one. Yeah,
And then you got enemy in the state in that fleet too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that was my attempt at just kind of using a UT to sabotage enemies without using missionary or wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's see. I think I'll go with this one, the Flash Fleet, as I have called it. It's a 3-ship fleet. 70 points, composed, as I put it, of some of the fastest ships in the game. Right. Ship number 1, we've got the regular rare version of the San Cristobal, with a linked captain from Fire and Steel, Victor de Alva, who provides captain and EA. Got a helmsman, and we have, I believe it's the Explorer version of Dominic Freda on board for ship number 1. Ship number 2 is the, I don't get the expanded view on my own fleets. It's weird. It's the uncommon. Yeah, I don't get the expanded view. I get it on other people's fleets, right?
You have the option in the upper right, or no? I always click on that. So it's like extended format. I'm pretty sure is what it'll say. When it's not.
Okay, it's top right extended. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yay! Problem solved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I didn't know you could do that.
No, neither did I. Anyways, you've got the uncommon 025 number version of the Black Pearl from Disney Pirates. All right, that's the one that's get +S to the base movement, +1 to cannon rolls if there is a captain on board. We have Calico Cat from Ocean's Edge, which is extra action and world hating, an explorer, and to round things off, Hammersmith. And just for added security to make people hate you, we've got the cheesy Micron combo, which is Robinson, who is 0 points, which allows Lord Micron to come aboard the Patagonia. All right. I didn't include any UTs in this one. This was just a thought experiment fleet, really, to put like the two fastest durable ships I could find. I think I even said it in my description here. The original design for this, I had the Hai Peng in it for some UPS stuff. But I eventually decided that, larger, more durable ships would be better.
Did you say HMS Interceptor was in here at all, or no?
No, because in theory that could only have a max speed of L plus L plus S twice. Whereas these ships, the Cristobal, I think, could match that and or exceed that and is bigger. With true. S plus S plus L plus S, potentially twice.
Yeah. But last I knew, the HMS Interceptor was faster than that version of the Black Pearl when you outfit her with a crew like Griffin.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
It's just not. Yeah, it's not as dangerous, and then as soon as you lose one mast, it gets a lot slower.
Considerably slower,
yes. Yeah. Although it is faster.
And not according to the movies.
Well, yeah, the movies were also kind of, they use plot devices where convenient.
Yeah.
And if 70 points scares people, the Micron Patagonia combo with Robinson, that's exactly 10. Remove those, and this is a 60-point fleet, which is still decently good.
Yeah, I'd say it might even be slightly better at 60. Like I said in my fleet comment on the page, I'm not sure if I would bother with Micron because both ships have extra action. I mean, you're probably not going to get both, but you might have a case where you get both extra actions on both ships, and then Micron is just sitting there. So I think it would be maybe a little bit more competitive at 60 points. I think this scares me more at 60 than at 70, actually, potentially. Because at 60, I don't know if I'd be able to cope with both of these. It would be very difficult. And I think the only other thing I would say, I would maybe move the Explorer to the San Cristobal because it's faster, more cargo.
Oh, there's Dominic Freda.
Oh, it's already. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I didn't.
Explorer and plus on the cargo spaces takes up none.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. In that case, I don't know if I would want Explorer on the Pearl in general, but I guess it's decent. So yeah, I don't know if it's like fully optimized yet, like I said in the comment, but it's still pretty impressive. And it kind of vaguely reminds me of I made something on a 100-point fleet called Ultimate Speed Fleet, which has I don't know if it has the Black Pearl in it, but it does have a similar concept. So just bigger points.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I guess it may be time to move on to the section where I talk about pirate video games.
All right, video games.
Yeah, not everybody out there will be interested, but this may be of value to some of you. This week, now I'm assuming that I talked about Sea of Thieves last week.
Ooh, I've been watching some videos about that on YouTube. Mostly about idiots who don't quite do things properly, I guess. They just shoot cannons.
Yeah, I mean, my view of Sea of Thieves was that I don't get the point, and it doesn't actually seem like a game. It just seems like an environment where you can do things that have no consequence whatsoever. I haven't played since it was in an earlier form of beta, but even then, you kind of want people to understand that there is an objective, whereas there was absolutely nothing of the sort in the earlier beta. Anyway, I'm going to talk this week about a game that I'm certain probably nobody on the forum has heard of, and it's called Windward. It's a game you can buy on Steam, and this is a $10 game that you can play cooperatively with up to 4 people. I don't know if either of you have played Sid Meier's Pirates, have you?
I don't think so.
I wish.
I haven't.
I wish.
I have not, but I have heard from other people that have played Windward that it's similar. As I would describe it, and I've put some decent time into Windward, is it's a game where you start out with your own little ship and a sort of procedurally generated ocean, and then you can wage war, you can chase down pirates, you can ferry cargo, you can use your ship for basically anything you want. You can level up, you can buy bigger ships, you can move from a sloop to a man-of-war, a galley, or maybe not a galley, a corvette. I went for the corvette, and it's sort of halfway historic naval game-ish type of thing, and half RPG, because as you level up, you get attacks that you can add. There's something sort of akin to a stink pot specialist that I took on mine to debuff enemies. It's, I think, quite a lot of fun. Yeah. I bought it when it was $20. It's $10 now. And I think if you know other people that are interested in playing it, you can get a 4-pack for $30 on Steam, or you can just buy one for yourself for $10. Nice. So actually, that could be an interesting sort of alt episode for you guys if you ever record games of, for like
join us,
Vassal.
Join us. We'll go on like a 3-person pirating adventure and probably all get killed.
I'm interested.
Well, except for you, because you've got experience.
Oh no, you do a lot of dying, and I haven't played it recently, but it is fun from what I remembered, and it's especially fun in a group. I think that may be something we have to plan on at some point. And
No, keep going. You go through.
No, you keep going. I didn't really have any more to say, I think.
Yeah, I'm on Steam watching the trailer for it. I've seen it
same here,
all the way through, and it looks pretty cool. I think it looks good. And yeah, the reviews, it says, under all reviews, it says very positive, like 9 out of 10 or something. So, and yeah, it seems affordable too. The actual combat reminds me a little bit of that Pirates of the Caribbean Game Boy game I talked about, the only Pirates game I played. Because the ship combat is like too fast, and it's like kind of funky, but it does look fun. So yeah, can you go on land too, or no? Or
I don't think so. I think it's You can interact with ports. You can, so one of the safe ways of making money early in the game is to go between friendly ports, trafficking goods that are basically buying low and selling high. You go, okay, lumber is pretty cheap at this port, but it's very valued at this other port. So you fill your hold and you go between. But there is the risk of being attacked by pirates or enemies and other factions that are AI controlled. But I'm wondering if there are unique ships to each world, because I know you can have multiple saves, and on one of them I started to try to take over the whole map, but I wasn't leveled up quite enough to do so. Yes, I was basically the high-speed hero of my faction, and that was good fun.
Right.
So, yeah, I think I'd have to check how many hours I put into the game. Let me log into my Steam account real quick, but anyway.
I don't have a Steam account.
Yeah, I don't think
it's worth getting one.
I'm not a very serious video gamer yet.
Yeah.
I've only got a laptop. I don't have a PC for anything.
I have a laptop. I mean, when I play this, the cooling fan howls because it's not much of a gaming laptop. But but I guess I could turn the settings down if I wanted to and run it better.
I'm looking at the system requirements, and it doesn't look intimidating compared to like Naval Action, for example. So.
Naval Action looks fun, but it also looks like a huge time investment.
Oh, it is. Yep. Yeah, that's what I saw from the reviews. Yeah, definitely. Almost like Eve Online to a degree.
Oh yeah, how we sort of talked about Eve Online and how it was.
Talked about that one.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, in the future, I guess we'll talk more about Naval Action once we do some research on it. There are some other games that I'll talk about in the next few off episodes like this one, including Skull and Bones and Puzzle Pirates, where I'll also tell the tale of my character, Bicep.
What?
Yes. But that's for another day. I'm not going to spoil anything yet. It's not that funny. It's kind of... this benign small child playing an online game and trying to be in character. Let's call it that.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, Windward looks pretty cool though. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll probably send around emails between us asking if we're interested in playing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be. But would all four of us or three of us need to buy the 4-pack to play?
Yeah.
I already have the game. I think it would only be a $10 investment for each of you.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we wouldn't have to bother with the 4-pack.
Oh no, only if the 4-pack is so you can send it to friends if you have people you want to send it to. But, that's probably once you've already got a bunch of people on Steam that you want to play it with.
Yeah.
I guess you can just consider it a bulk discount. Anyway.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah. 4 players
let me
for
see
30 instead of 40. Yeah.
Let me see how many. Okay, it says I have about 24 hours on record in the game, and I grinded pretty hardcore at times. So
cool.
Considering I've gotten at least a day out of it, there's probably more for a lot of other people, especially if they're
dedicated or just don't have a life.
I haven't played this game in a long time, so I think it would almost be a fresh experience for me if we ended up booting it up together or something.
All right. Maybe we'll make videos of it sometimes.
I'm up for that.
Ben and
I don't have... Yeah, maybe you and Ben can record, and I can be the silent guy who gets killed all the time.
Obviously, we'd obviously have a group call or something for that. If we ever get around to doing it.
Yeah, I'm up for that. And then we could, who knows? You could, like you've made things talking about your campaign games, it could almost be something where we could do 15-minute, half hour, whatever, videos at a time of our campaign in Windward, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. And that's, I think, all I have to say about that.
Yeah, nice. The last thing I have is just kind of a general question for the community. What have you done in terms of getting people interested in the game, and how do you think is the best way to do so, like social media or in person, things like that, or email? How have you gotten your play group interested, and what do you think would be the best ways to get other people interested? So I'm kind of interested to know myself what people say, and you guys can answer the question if you want. But it's just kind of a general thought on it. So
I think I'll be the first one to answer, and after I do, I'll probably jump out because not only do I have to use the bathroom, but I may have to go get my girlfriend. But from my experience, the few people that I've gotten into the game have basically all been people that I've known personally and have been able to talk about the game with and, tell them why I like it and why I think they might like it.
Yeah.
There's been one classmate, some family members, a coworker who I at the time was interested, but whom I've since fallen out with. Yeah.
No, I've had a similar experience. I'm just trying to figure out how to kind of grow the community. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'd echo that same sentiment.
Yeah.
It's probably for spreading the word about the game. It might be best, or might happen most frequently, if you just tell people that you're buds with. I think God Mason said coworkers, family members that you don't see often, or family members you see often who might be interested. In my case, I got my brothers interested, and they've both joined the forum, and I keep nagging them to post, but they don't.
Oh, they really should. We could use more voices. And if your brothers are listening to this, please start posting, guys. The more the merrier, as they say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason
my dad
about it too. So get more people on the forum and stuff.
Yeah, my dad and my older sister Kim have been integral to my play group. They're pretty much the only people I play with. There is a classmate who I played 2 or 3 games with, maybe 4, but then he joined the Marines, so he's not nearly as accessible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, But maybe when he's back in town, I might get a chance to play another game with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Do we have any more to talk about in that topic?
No, I think I'm good.
Not really.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, it was a shorter episode. All right. Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. This was episode 19. And
short
we'll
episode, 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll be back in a few weeks with the next set review. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you out on the forums and whatnot.